Hi. Welcome back to Botswana's #1 comedy interview podcast. That's right. That's actually a fact. So South Africa, we're gonna need more from you. And we're back with another guest. And today's guest has doodled and cycled her way into millions of hearts around the world. She's an adventurer, a cartoonist, and ultimately a more talented rupee cow. Tegan, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
After such a rousing introduction, just simply fine. It is
Good.
Chloe. How
Wonderful.
are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Good, nice.
Very excited to have Tegan on the podcast.
Yeah.
Of course.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Sam and I were saying we watched your TED Talk. We were telling you we watched the TED Talk last night. And it feels like we're in like a star's presence. No, for reals. I think TED Talk is such an amazing achievement. It really is. And you spoke brilliantly. I enjoyed it. I think sometimes TED Talks the wind is howling. I think TED Talks can sometimes be quite serious. And I think you brought a lot of your humor to it. I loved your drawings, which we'll get to. But yeah, it was brilliant. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was so nervous for that thing. I got on stage and I was shaking and I had 3 shirts in the back. They've got this whole backstage area with shirt dressing rooms and makeup and stuff. And I had all these shirts on coat hangers because we had to get there say 2 or 3 hours early, and then I'd be wearing a shirt for an hour and then it'd be drenched. And then I change the shirts and then it also sweat through that one. I think the shirt that I wore in the end was I put it on as I was
going on and just hope
still
that nothing
sweated
happened.
through it.
I feel like that should be in your TED brief. Bring 3 shirts because you'll probably sweat through 2 of them.
Yes, yeah. I would recommend that to public speakers.
No, but I thought it was awesome because usually the TED Talkers are such con men. I feel. No, they are. They're come on, ba ba ba, razzmatazz, cue the joke there. You're like, this guy is not that you weren't No, but it was just such a natural, you could see how you grew into the TED Talk as well. And that I feel is part of what makes your comics and your whole, I hate calling people brands, good heavens. We're more than just a dumbass brand, but you're so relatable. And I think that's what resonates, especially in your comics.
I think the other thing that was so interesting for me is the way that they choose the talks. It's not just about the talk at all, actually. It's about
TED.
The ideas.
No.
Yeah, TED. It's Ted's favorite.
There's going to be a lot of that today. Brace yourself.
So it's pretty much when you pitch, you actually pitch one sentence. And they judge it not by who, so they're not really looking for motivational talks or anything that's sort of on the talk side. They pretty much choose only based on ideas that they think are important and relevant. So you have to first try and convey why your idea is unique and why you're the best person to talk about it and why the world needs to hear it. And from there, they help you build a talk.
That's fantastic. Chloe, are you a fan of TED Talks or do you think they suck?
I'm a big fan of TED Talks.
You're a big fan?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really enjoy them. There was one bizarre one on loneliness, which I think was a massive miss. It's got way more dislikes than likes, which is the only bad TED Talk I've watched.
We got to put the link in the video.
Yeah, you guys can go watch it. I think because it was just it was something that you could probably find on how not to be lonely on WikiHow, go find someone to hug. It was just terrible. But for the most part, I really enjoy TED Talks. But to get back to an important segment of our show and tell.
Oh my word, we forgot about this at the start. Did you also forget about it?
No, well, so I was saying to Chloe when I arrived, I was going to bring a bicycle, which is in my car, because I thought it would kind of be good for security for the bicycle because it's a rental.
Oh, okay.
To have brought it in. But also it probably would have been a schlep. But I do have one in the car. And then I could have also showed you how I've modified this bike that it looks really funny because I just have ridiculous body proportions.
So to clarify, you brought nothing.
It's with us at a distance.
Of course.
I feel you're less show more tell. Some people just Nick Preen, who I'll forever bash on about, brought us gifts, and we were like, basically, actually stuff he just wanted to throw away, like a painful present from an ex-girlfriend and a vinyl CD promotion, a vinyl disc.
Wow.
Apologies to
a
all.
record.
Yeah.
Yes.
I really wanted to bring you guys gifts, but then I just didn't have my shit organized.
Don't worry,
mine.
whatever. Last invite onto the podcast. It just popped into my head on the worst TED Talk ever was a TED Talk on porn and why we should stop watching porn. And ironically, maybe not ironically, but
Was this just worst for you because of the topic, or
because of my crippling addiction I deal with every day. No,
it was actually a really good talk, but like what?
No, because the comments were just so hilarious. So because it was presented by this beautiful female presenter,
I think I've watched that. Yeah,
I'm not knocking her for being beautiful. I mean, she can't help that. But all the comments were like, "I was just about to quit, and then this lady made me watch it." She broke my. I was like, "Oh." They need to disable the comments for this.
That's terrible. No.
Yes, but I've also been reading some newspaper clippings about you. And here's a quote that I found from the Sunday Times. And I'll quote you. This is what Tegan Phillips said. Zapiro can't draw to save his life. Oh, and I hate him. What? Why? When did this beef with Zapiro, another South African cartoonist, begin?
Okay, so I never said that. Just
okay. Is that a misquote?
Put that on.
Oh, I'm a fan of Zapiro. That's what you said. Okay.
But I mean, yeah, I feel like I'm just gonna say like random shit that actually isn't funny or that interesting. But I do find that as a South African cartoonist, everybody's always like, "Oh, are you like Zapiro?" And I'm like, "No, I'm like, there's no." The only overlap is that we communicate visually, but I mean, I probably have more overlaps with some photographers and with Zapiro, just in terms of like, but
Andy sucks. No, Zapiro is actually awesome.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty cool guy.
But it's when I was thinking about it, it was more the cartoonist gag because I've never gone anywhere and gone, "Hey, so what do you do?" And someone's like a cartoonist. I was like, "Okay, pull the other leg." Is this part of your comedy routine? Where you are the only two people who are actually making careers when I actually sit down and think about it.
I mean, career is a strong word for what I have.
Yes, but you're doing what you love, which is probably more important than a career.
Well,
if you have money.
In some way.
Paying the bills.
If you can eat.
Thank goodness for that trust fund. No, I'm joking. I don't have a trust fund.
We'll talk about this off air, compare trust funds and why they allow us to pursue passions and why everyone should have a trust fund.
No, I just don't have a pension plan or any kind of future plan. I think I'm kind of just
going with the flow.
Wow.
That was the best part of your TED Talk, I thought, or your best joke when you're like, it's giving me, being this person is giving me a lot of richness. Not yeah, and everyone's like, "Hiiii, poor girl on stage doing a TED Talk, clap clap." Ay. Okay, so we got the Zapiro beef. Chloe was very interested about you. Well, I mean, as is everyone, but I also feel like you've done this and answered this question so many times, so we'll make you do it again. What was your year-like trip around Africa on a bicycle with your family like?
It was great. Hot.
This is sounding like a hostage answer.
Did you ever do, I know you did some talks at schools.
Yes.
Did you ever do a talk at Oakhurst or not?
No, but I mean, I went to Cedar House. I think it was quite a strong over Cedar House.
Yes, yeah. There. I think because I remember, you might have talked when I was there, because I remember when I was reading about your 11,000 kilometer trip about Africa, which I was just mind blown about, I was like, I feel like I've heard this story before.
Not that memorable though. Wouldn't invite her again for the school talk.
But yeah, no, that must have been grueling.
It's your Tinder popping off. Sometimes my super likes come through during the podcast as well. No, you embrace them.
How do you handle that?
After the show, we swipe again.
Okay.
Yes. Chloe and I have a bizarre relationship.
Samuel's joking. We are dating.
Nice. Okay.
Why are we bragging about this, Chloe? We've spoken about this. We keep up the allure that you're this beautiful single lady on the market, and it's just me. Too terrible. But what?
Do you think I can just pop a message to Dave to say be right back in a podcast because he's outside looking for his house keys?
Do you just need to chuck the keys at him?
I mean, how far can I reach out the window? Like how does?
No, we can literally stop and then.
Yeah.
Go and I'll let you out here. No, all good. Okay, so if there is an awkward transition in the editing of the podcast, Tegan's ex-boyfriend showed up and he was angry. Real angry. So we had to deal with that. Let's get back to Africa because 11,000 kilometers, 365 days. That's a year. Yeah, close enough. And your family. What inspired this trip?
My dad got really interested in sort of like climate stuff, I guess. And then he sold his company and had some money.
It sounds like the best midlife crisis ever.
Where the trust fund actually comes in.
Yeah, so this was instead of a trust fund. He was like, do you guys want inheritance or do you want to go ride bikes around Africa? So we picked the bicycle option.
So is your whole family like health nuts?
No, not at all. Like really not. No. When we started, I mean, I had been cycling for maybe 6 months and my sister and mom were not cyclists. So my dad ordered these bikes. We had these like special steel bikes that you can kind of like chuck off a boat or onto a train, which happened a lot, that won't break. And we ordered them from America and my mom got one, my sister got one. And then we spent like maybe a month where they could kind of practice riding around. Because also the bikes are heavy. Like my bike was about 50 kilograms, which is
50.
With all of the bags and stuff. Jeez. So like my normal bicycle is like 7 kilograms. So it's quite a difference, I guess. But you get used to it really quickly because you're on it for like many hours a day.
Your legs must have been killing you. I mean, I can't imagine cycling uphill with 50 kilos.
Well, I think it's more like that. So when you have really, really easy gears, then you just put it in the super easy gears, but then you're just moving at like 1 kilometer an hour.
Yeah,
but
snail pace.
Yeah, Chloe, do some more gear research before the next podcast. Come on, stop embarrassing us. Yeah, we understand that. Yeah, low gears, high gears, cycling. And then, but what I loved is also you basically were able to journal this experience. I think maybe that's an insulting term, journaling.
Adventure diary.
Document.
Yeah, no, I think journaling is fine.
Okay.
Doodle.
You never know. You never know with certain people. And I just, because now we are on the website and reading this or viewing it rather, and I just go, wow, what an unbelievable experience, not only to experience, but then document. And what I found most interesting about it was the first bit, actually, where you just speak about how much time it gave you to think.
Yeah.
And is thinking good? We asked Nick this as well. Is it good to think?
What did Nick say?
I'll think about it.
Make sure.
That would have been funny if he said that. Nick, come on, stay with it. Yeah.
I think that thinking gets in the way of us being able to experience life like in our bodies, to actually feel like what it is to be alive. Like I remember often cycling and being lost in thought and passing through these like beautiful areas or something and say I'm thinking about, I don't know, it's always dumb stuff, but compulsively. And you know how you're sitting in your car for an hour and you can literally be thinking about like one thing over and over and over again. You're not even like really engaging with the thought. It's just going in your head. And I would always be like, where actually was I for that last hour? Like I kind of remember seeing stuff, but I don't really know what it was. And I wasn't really feeling anything. And it's amazing how like, because our lives have become it's become easy to do things automatically, including social interactions and work stuff. And so like messages, emails, making food, eating food, pretty much everything that we do, we can do to a degree on autopilot. And our attention, instead of being in those things, tends to just be in our minds. And it's not even like we giving the attention to the mind. The mind's just like, hey, look at me. I'm thinking this, I'm thinking that. And we just like, okay. And then suddenly it's like, oh my God, I'm 40 years old and I don't actually know where I've been the last 40 years.
Absolutely. Wow.
So,
we might lose our tag as Botswana's #1 comedy interview podcast.
Sorry.
But we might also become the #1 sort of lifestyle and what's it called? Self-help, because that was amazing. No, I like it when people get into things, and I think that's why exercise is such a deterrent to, well, bad feelings, because you're in your body and you're making yourself feel better and you're actually living in that moment.
Yeah.
Chloe and I speak a lot about social media and being, I'll be like, what were you doing? What were you been up to? She's like, I got sucked in. And it's literally
I got sucked into Instagram,
into that black hole of swipe, and it's just unintentional nonsense. So that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Chloe, when was the last time you did something with intention?
With intent. I went for a run yesterday.
nice.
Yeah. I said on
Detail
on
what
Monday's
happened on your
podcast-
run.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I had an asthma attack yesterday. Yeah, it was crazy. Because I've now set my goal. I'm gonna do a under 2 hour half marathon by the end of the year. I've just stopped running, as seriously as I have. So I really want to get back into it. So I started my training program. Wasn't off to a great start. I got to like the 4th kilometer and this massive dog knocked me off my feet. And I don't know if I got winded or what happened. I've got asthma. And then I got up and I was fine. I was like a bit annoyed. And I was like, my pace is going to be off. And then I ran for a little bit and then I just couldn't breathe.
Oh, no.
And I was like gasping for air and no one helped.
Because breathing is so important.
It is. Yeah, it is quite important.
Almost a prerequisite, some would say.
Yeah. So I managed to call my mom. We literally live like a couple minutes away. And yeah, she bought my asthma pump. So
Why does no one ever help? Because I've also been like tripped and like concussed on the side of the road type of thing. I'm sure you've had a fair share of bike accidents. People almost seem to be like, oh, now I got to go around that. And you kind of feel like that's how like, homeless people must feel. Ooh, rough segue. Ooh. But it's always like, if I don't have to go past that level of trauma, I won't. And you're like,
my dad was mortified because he was like, but those are the same people that we see when we walk our dogs. Those are good people. We see them every day. And I was like, Dad, they didn't help me. So
yeah, no.
Maybe they just thought I was having a really bad run. I'm so unfit. I can't breathe.
No, it's horrible. It's also like when you
some privacy and unfitness.
If you see someone crying in a restaurant, you don't go up to them.
Yeah,
that was me. Maybe come say hi next time.
That's when I did my first ever solo bike trip before the Africa trip. On the end of my first day, it was like the most disastrous first day through rain and getting like super lost to the point where I like was literally like be like, oh, this town is so nice, and then a few minutes later, or maybe a few hours later, be like, oh, this town is so nice. Like, how am I here again? I'm supposed to just be going south. But anyway, at the end of the day, I wanted to phone the place where I was going to stay. It was like an hour away, and then I was carrying my heavy bike down an embankment, and it fell, and the sharp little gear bits sliced my leg open.
Oh my God.
And I think I still have I could see the white of the muscle.
Ooh, oh my God.
But
you look like a shark survivor. For those of you who can't see.
But so I was literally at a shopping mall, covered in this pool of blood around my leg, sitting right outside, and flipping England people were just walking in so mortified that I could be sitting there crying, expressing these very improper emotions in front of their children. And they were just the kids would look at me and they would be like, no, Thomas, come, we're going inside. And then
get away from this crazy lady.
Yeah, literally. And I was very clearly in distress. My phone was dead because I'm just useless. And and then eventually I went into the mall to be sorry, please, can you lend me your phone charger because I'm very stuck here and I'm bleeding. And they were just I'm so sorry, we don't have the authority to do that. It's like, oh God, please help me.
Got the authority to kill you.
Yeah, I completely agree with you guys. Like, why do we not just see someone that's obviously needs help?
Yeah, and
be
distress
like,
and
hey,
just
what's
help
up?
them.
Yeah.
I also think we convince ourselves that our lives are so important and so busy. Like, I'll be honest, I saw like an ambiguous situation where the person could have been sleeping or had fallen or something, or dead. Tegan Phillips, everyone, thanks for coming. And I was like, well, I have to be at work. Yeah. And I'm like, so that kind of overruled my decision. Or, it'd be like, oh, I'm in traffic. It's like, especially with COVID, we are so, I feel we've become anti-human.
Yeah.
When like you see someone, your first thing isn't to reach out. It's like, get away and it's just so British, that story. Like, come on, Charlie, don't look at that improper woman. Why isn't she bleeding at home? I'm not a fan. Actually, no, we have some people that listen from England, so we're fans.
I mean, aside from that, the people are very wonderful.
Beautiful town. Again.
Another hard segue. Would you advise dropping out of degrees at university?
I think I didn't technically drop out. I did undergrad, and then I was going to do a postgrad, and then I didn't do the postgrad.
So this is for fans of Tegan. What a liar. Her whole brand is like, drop everything, cycle around Africa, go to Miami, lose your mind. Darling.
No, definitely.
Okay, so you've got an undergrad.
Yeah, and nice. That's definitely not the vibe. Or I think something that people who do have kind of alternative lifestyles often promote is this idea of like, give everything up and chase your passion. And that's completely not what I stand for, because I think it is so individual and it's not, there's no externally objective right thing for anybody. It's about something that you feel is like, this is my path or this is not my path. And maybe you sometimes have to give up your free life and be like, shit, actually, I want to be a lawyer and now I need to like suck it up and go study. And it's about like the thing that I try to promote is you have to really be honest with yourself and figure out what that is for you. And sometimes it's corporate and sometimes it's leaving corporate, but definitely like don't quit your job if you like it. Please don't do that.
Don't quit your job if you like it.
Yes, I feel that's what the gurus are all like. They're like, just do what you want. Yeah. It's like, what do I want?
Yeah, well, I think that's the where the sort of like courage aspect comes in, is like you have to ask yourself, what do I want? And like you don't always really want to admit that answer to yourself.
That's true. Speaking of courage, we're not going to speak about courage. Watch Tegan's TED Talk. We'll also put that link in because it was just lovely. It was just lovely. That's a good way to describe it.
No, we'll definitely link it.
Chloe, you have some trivia for us.
Some trivia, I do. These are cycling inspired. So maybe you've got the upper hand in terms of Sam. You will literally have to raise your hand to answer.
Nice,
okay.
Chloe.
So are you ready for some toast trivia with Tegan and Sam? All right.
Cycling toast trivia.
Okay. Of the 3 Grand Tours, which is the oldest? I have to tell them to you. Giro d'Italia.
Oh, Chloe. Butchered that one.
España or Tour de France?
It was going to be my first answer. I think people would assume it's the Tour de France, but I have a feeling it's the Giro d'Italia.
I said that's so wrong then. Yeah. What's your answer? It's Tour de France.
Oh, fuck.
I'm afraid. Sorry.
Stop trying to be alternative with your answers, Sam. You're an idiot.
Where was Lance Armstrong born?
Texas.
Okay, Viva more
America.
General. Yeah. I don't know where exactly he was born.
Stop the riot. Why do you like Lance Armstrong? Yes or no? Yes or no, Tegan?
I haven't met him.
Okay.
Haven't met
fair
him,
enough.
don't know.
Do you think Lance Armstrong is the 7-time Tour de France champion?
Yeah, I think. I
think your answer like determines whether we're gonna go blood test you after this interview or not.
Yeah, I mean, I think what makes it difficult for me, like obviously if he was cheating, then no, he shouldn't have those titles. But at the same time, I think we can't pretend like he's the only one that cheats and none of the other winners have also been cheating. It's kind of like, can we, like, what actually is the Tour de France winner? Like, it's a whole
exactly.
kind of
It's
messed
very
up
political.
vibe.
Have you watched Icarus?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a great.
You realize it's almost like if you don't, you're at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Like it just seems like everyone does.
No, but what's your take on Lance Armstrong? Love or hate him?
I love him. I think that he's very talented. You can't achieve that just by performance enhancing drugs. I think he's still very talented, and it's still an achievement. And I think that most people in the top 10 were probably also on the juice.
I also love Lance Armstrong. I thought that might be a controversial opinion today. Because he's got one ball and he's one or no balls.
Yeah, so he actually has a weight advantage.
And he doesn't get them mashed up on this.
I mean,
You see, this is usually what we like. This is more KETS. Talking about Lance Armstrong's balls.
Okay.
Back to the trivia. Sorry,
Question
Chloe.
4. How many bikes can you fit into one parking space?
Is it a bike parking space?
No, like a car parking
Well,
space.
if
Like
it's
a bay.
Tegan's 50-kilogram bike, I'm going to go with 1.
Probably
a bike.
As depends on the bikes. Can you stack them on top of each other?
Sure.
Okay, 100 maybe.
6. I'm going to go with 6 as my final
Okay,
answer.
the answer
Build a
is
structure of bikes.
15.
Wow.
Hey.
All right. Okay, is this a true or false? Is it 20 times cheaper to maintain a bicycle than a car?
I'd say false.
Depends on the bicycle.
Depends on the bicycle.
Some bicycles are so expensive.
Okay, but
Or to quote Lance Armstrong, it's not about the bike. It's about the EPO, baby.
okay.
Would you do E EPO?
I guess probably not.
Okay.
No, I think it would just be embarrassing for me because I'm not really that good. So then I'd be taking drugs and still getting beaten and be like, at least now I have the excuse, like I'm clean. That's why.
You got to promote
That's
clean.
why I lose.
That was the funniest part about Icarus. Not the funniest part, the saddest part when he
he took the
confesses
drugs.
and he's like, I have to now be honest with myself and just go, I'm still not this level of athlete, even with blood doping
Yeah.
and like all this extra
the
advantage.
funniest part was that Russian times he loved the camera. Wow.
He did love the camera.
Yeah.
This dog is fucking me. This dog is just fucking me.
Okay.
Are there any
Last
more
one.
questions? Okay.
Last one. Okay, so Damien Hirst designed the most expensive bike ever. How much did it cost? $1 million, $500,000, or $200,000?
I'll go with $1 million.
$1 million for a bike. That's quite. Is that correct?
No,
Well, I answered another one. 200,000.
it was $500,000. Yeah,
Wow.
and rideable. But Damien Hirst is a famous artist, so I mean,
didn't
it's
he
like an
make
art
a
piece.
Skull out of gold and diamonds. or
Yes,
something?
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
nice.
High school.
I think that makes you get a fist bump for winning the competition there with that extra Damien Hirst trivia. It's always good to burp on a audio-based platform, but no. Why do people hate cyclists?
To be honest, I can understand it. And I can't really blame them. I think some people do see like cyclists on the road as an opportunity to like project every frustration in their life onto these people who are now making them 1 minute late for their brunch. But at the same time, cyclists can be a little bit aggravating or reactive.
Obnoxious, insensitive, idiotic.
Not all cyclists. Hashtag.
I feel all lives matter and not all cyclists is the same group chat. Yeah.
It's I mean, I think maybe one of the problems is that the sport of cycling does tend to attract it attracts people like me who are clumsy and adventurous and slow and kind of like just wants to get along with people, but predominantly it attracts people with the Lance Armstrong type of personality where they're compensating for something or they somehow have reached some peak in their career and now they are no longer getting that validation that they've grown up with, or I don't know what it is. It's like But in my head, I often feel the word alpha coming up. Be like, just a bunch of alphas, and then you try and beat them, and it's very satisfying if you can. But I think it's that. So I mean, they almost look for opportunities to annoy cars, and
I think anyone with like a proclivity to be very included in exercise, or that's a big part of their personality, is going to be very hyper competitive. And I mean, I go for a run, and even if I'm like recovering from an injury or something, if someone like kind of sidles up to me and moves past my shoulder and I was running in front of me, I'm like, holy fuck. I know not that. Behave, Tegan. I'll be like, no, I'm in a race, and I will run wherever this person is running to show them that I've run longer than them, or I'm going to run. It worked. It was terrible. A couple of weeks ago, I'm running on Sea Point, and this guy whizzes past me on the promenade. I'm like, here we go. I'm like, okay, I worked out. He's not running for that long. He's going to probably stop at the end. So I'm like, I just need to beat him at the end. So and now we're doing like 3-minute 55 kilometers. And I'm like,
Samuel.
They're poor people. I'm like kicking dogs out the way. Fuck you. There's an anti-vax protest. I punched a couple people. And I eventually get past them. I'm like, ha ha. And I run past him for 50 meters. I'm like, now he's going to stop. And I stop and I look back. And he just zooms past me. And I'm like, fuck! And I have to start running again. And I never catch him. But it just shows that idiotic... I wouldn't call it alpha because I don't think I'm an alpha male. But it's some dumb mindset we have.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But we've also, Chloe's compiled a quiz just to check if you are a South African cyclist.
Yeah.
So...
Are you really a Cape Townian
Tee it up, Chlo, dog. Tee it up.
All right. There's three questions.
Are you going to show me a picture of a red robot and ask me what does this one mean?
No.
Damn it, has she seen the quiz?
Okay. This is a bit tongue-in-cheek, you know. But okay, so it's a quiz to see, are you really a Cape Town cyclist? Okay, number 1. You're cycling chappies. Okay. Do you ride on the side of the road or do you ride in the middle of the road?
I take
nervous laughter.
I think it's the fifth one.
It's the middle of the road.
I think it's nice to chat to your friends when you're riding, but something that I think that cars often don't realize is if you go too far to the side of the road, when it's not really safe for them to overtake you, then they'll come and try and overtake you, and then you don't have any room for, if you need to suddenly like swerve into the road or fall or something, they're just going to run over your head.
You're going to fall off Chapman's Peak. Otherwise, the other way.
Sometimes if a cyclist is riding in the middle of the lane, it's because they're trying to say like, it's not safe to overtake me right now. Just wait until we've got more you can see, and then I'll pull over.
The more you know.
The more you know, the more you hate them.
All right. You're at a stop sign. You're at a stop sign.
I like it. You're at a stop sign. Then Chloe stops speaking.
Do you stop or do you not stop?
Of course, I stop, especially if there's traffic, like it's like an intersection vibe. I think if you're just sort of on the, do you know what I mean? Like
I did the exact same thing on my car. I just go through in second gear.
I wouldn't stop if I was a cyclist, because I've seen you guys, and we'll get ready for some physical comedy, Kidsy Toast people. If you're listening, we love you, but you won't be able to see this. There's nothing worse than that. There's nothing more embarrassing than seeing cyclists that are red robots trying to stay on their bike.
What? No, that's like the ultimate thing
Is that cool?
You aspire toward.
I thought
if they're doing that,
laughing at you.
I was like, these people, they don't know how silly they look.
It's literally like I would put that on my Tinder profile if I could do it, and if I had a Tinder profile. And I wasn't
so what do
dating.
you do?
You just one leg on the floor.
Yeah, I say like the rookies and just ordinary humans like myself, you just get to the road and you try balance for like 2 seconds, and then you unclip and you put your leg down. But if you have the ability to like brake and literally like use your brakes and be standing on the pedals and not fall on your head, like that is godlike. It's like
I thought it was the opposite.
Just
Okay.
Really?
All right,
Yeah.
Chloe,
Like, have you ever tried to do that?
No.
Look, I can't.
He's just laughed at them trying.
I just, as per usual, just laugh at them trying. No. Okay. Wider of the rider, pay your taxes, aspire to be more like Tegan. I think that's a takeaway from today's podcast.
I don't know what taxes have to do with it, but 100%.
Yeah, you can't pay tax if you don't earn money.
Okay,
Now Tegan, please control yourself. You're on a podcast. Okay. This is the last part of the show. We just look for a very simple, overrated, underrated. We found people in the 21st century. They don't know what to think. They don't know what to do. They need us to guide them in terms of what's overrated and not that great, and what's underrated and should be given more attention. So, as quick as you can, however you feel about the matter, let's go. Lance Armstrong.
Overrated.
And over balls, no balls. Crotch chafing.
I'm gonna say it's underrated from an intensity point of view. Like, people don't realize how
Painful
horrible
it is.
that
Okay,
is,
so
yeah.
crotch chafing is
But
massive.
I don't want to say it's underrated and that it's really, really great and people should
Okay, chafe
Should try
crotches.
it.
There's a lot of crotch
You guys
chafing.
don't know how cool it could be. Yeah, no, it's bad. Yeah.
I'm also glad you were talking there because I had a disgusting joke that I'm glad I sidestepped.
Sorry.
Blue Powerade.
Overrated.
I was just thinking about Blue Powerade before this. I was like,
How-
I could
wow.
do with one now.
All right. Thank you for coming on the show. How do you not like Blue Powerade? I thought that was...
I've never tried it.
Wow. Okay. We'll send some over to you.
Okay, that was why I said that, actually.
Okay. When I read this now, I realized it's a bit ambiguous, but I think you'll understand the question. So coming first.
I mean, that really depends.
Underrated in the bedroom, overrated on the bike stage. What is this podcast? We try so hard to put out a good product every week, and it just doesn't, Chloe. Chloe's going to be the new head of KETS.
What do you think about coming first, Chloe?
Underrated.
Never happened. Oh, well, we've made that joke before.
Like me and the Blue Powerade. You're like, please let me try.
What a mess. What an audio mess. All right, let's get it back. This is still somehow sexual. I don't know how. Spitting on drivers. Have you ever spat on a driver?
No, fuck, that is like the worst. I hate riding with people who would consider doing that.
Yeah, that's the low. So they're overrated cyclists that spit on drivers. Yeah. Stop it. And then to circle back to the beginning of the podcast, Zapiro.
Yeah, underrated. Oh, he's wonderful, I think. It feels like a safe answer.
Tegan Phillips. What a wonderful podcast. We enjoy these conversations, and then we hope you guys do too. It wasn't maybe the laugh a minute that you're accustomed to, but you got some golden nuggets. And I feel that's very much who you are. So we can find you where? On Instagram, Tegan Phillips Comics.
Yeah.
We'll have that link down
We'll
below.
put the link there.
And also your website as well. You guys must go have a look to your blog.
All the
Very
links
cool.
will be there. It's the best way to intentionally consume online I was going to say comics content. Fuck. Like I said, this podcast degenerates the longer it goes on. So, no, for real, thank you so much for taking the time and being here. We've loved it. We know they will too. And as per usual, Chloe, do the usual things. She loves this.
Like, comment, subscribe. Go follow us. Subscribe if you haven't. Turn on bell notifications.
What? Don't turn on the bell notifications. See, we just sometimes do a bit of reverse psychology here, as well. They never know. And then our signature sign off. You just go, you make a heart. This is from South Korean.
Chickadee
Oopsie.
fuck.
Hey,
Your
like
index finger. There we go. And
There you go. Nice.
Look, and you go, bye.
Bye.
Bye.